There were many African American baseball players who had important roles in desegregating baseball. The first ever black player to play in Major League Baseball was Moses Fleetwood Walker. Moses Fleetwood Walker was born in the year 1856 in Mount Pleasant, Ohio. After playing college baseball, Walker made his Major League debut in 1884. Unfortunately for Walker, by breaking baseball's color barrier, tons of controversy and backlash occurred throughout the league. The fans, opposing teams, and even his own teammates treated him extremely poorly. For the beginning years of his career, he was excluded completely from playing in games and constantly treated as an inferior. Eventually, the coaches gave in and let him finally show the league how talented he was. By succeeding in breaking the color barrier, Walker proved to baseball fans of all races that baseball was not only a white man's sport. There are hundreds of other key African American players who played a role in desegregating baseball. The biggest of these names include Jackie Robinson, Rube Foster, and Willie Mays. 50 years after Moses Walker's Major League debut, Jackie Robinson officially became the second black player to join the majors. Racism and segregation had not improved since the early 1900s. In order for Robinson to officially join the MLB, his contract stated that he must disregard and ignore all racism that he will soon face. Through all of the racism and hatred that he experienced throughout his MLB career, Robinson persevered and became one of the greatest baseball players that have ever played the game. Another influential black baseball player was Rube Foster. Foster was not only an outstanding player, but was also a very influential manager and one of the executive pioneers of the Negro Leagues. By helping many black players improve and giving inspiration to thousands more, Rube Foster became known as one of the most influential people in the progress towards desegregating baseball. Willie Mays is another notable influence in the progression towards desegregation and the overall improvement of baseball. Simply put, Willie Mays is known as one of baseball's greatest all-around players in history. He played in the MLB for 22 years during the mid-1900s and amassed some incredible achievements throughout that time. His 660 career home runs, record-tying 12 Gold Glove awards, and 24 All-Star Game appearances further solidified the true talent of many rising black baseball players. When it came to racism and segregation, the common idea that whites were superior to blacks occurred throughout all aspects of life and society in America. This included racism and segregation in hotels, public transportation, schools, restaurants, stores, and even water fountains. Examples of racism and segregation that occurred in the MLB off of the field were black players had to stay in separate hotels, they could not go into the same bars or restaurants, were often left alone and ignored by training staff, and still had to use separate bathrooms and water fountains. This racism did not just occur off of the field. On the field, there were many negative interactions between white fans, coaches, staff, and teammates towards black players. White fans would yell racial slurs at players during games, and even items would be thrown at black players during games. Progress over the years. The MLB began as a league for whites only. This led to the creation of what was called the Negro Leagues, which were looked down upon by the all-white majors. The Negro Leagues provided a league in which black players could showcase their skill sets. This eventually led to MLB teams choosing the most talented black players to recruit from the Negro Leagues. Players such as Moses Fleetwood Walker and eventually Jackie Robinson officially broke the color line. Eventually, other black players joined this movement by signing with the all-white MLB teams as well. The integration of not only African American players continued, but many other ethnicities as well. Roberto Clemente is a prime example of this integration. Clemente was a Puerto Rican baseball player who played for the Pirates for 18 years. He was one of the best players of his generation. In 1973, he became the first Latin American player to be inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame. After decades of integration of players of many races, the white players began to finally accept their teammates no matter the race or ethnicity. The progression influenced the fans and people around the league. Lastly, this leads to present day. Today there is absolutely no segregation occurring within or outside of the MLB in America. Rebellion and Revolution. Both Moses Fleetwood Walker and Jackie Robinson knew the racism that they were going to experience by being some of the first players to join an all-white league, but broke baseball's color line in spite of those fears. As the years progressed, more and more players began joining the league. The MLB began to realize the potential of some of these black players. Coaches began to actually scout for black players. This progression of desegregation in baseball affected the society surrounding it as well. Desegregation began in schools, public transportation, and stores. Globalization. Desegregation in baseball in the U.S. had huge effects on other countries as well. The beginning of baseball's globalization occurred when baseball became completely desegregated by the 1970s in America. This led to baseball becoming one of the most popular sports in foreign countries of all different races and ethnicities, such as Cuba, Dominican Republic, Japan, and Puerto Rico. Culture. Culture in America is constantly evolving. Many still wonder how the desegregation of baseball affected American society and culture. The answer is simple. When the first black baseball players joined the league, there was virtually no desegregation in America. When teams began integrating black players, it began the domino effect of desegregation. Over time, players and people of all races could go on team buses and facilities, sit in stadium seats together, share public transportation thanks to Rosa Parks, integrated stadium and public water fountains and restrooms, schools, restaurants, and hotels. Present day. Today, Major League Baseball and the U.S. as a whole is completely desegregated. Players of all races and ethnicities compete in the league. Aside from players from the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Cuba, and Japan, there is also a significant amount of players from Venezuela, Mexico, Colombia, Panama, Brazil, and Nicaragua. Every player is graded upon their skill and never for their race. Also, fans of all races and ethnicities watch games together in peace and happiness.